Hi, and welcome to the Health, Wealth, and Happiness Show. My name is Patricia Martin. We have a very special show today. My first guest is Chloe, who is my own little puppy, and she is a long-haired Chihuahua. We also have Wyndi Harp, and her little buddy's name is Carson. And her sister is Sherry Snider, and her buddy is Button. And we also have Pam O Daniel, and well, we'll talk more about that. But Wyndi and Sherry are here from the Southern Cross Boston Terrier Rescue today, and their babies are they rescues or are they?
These are rescues.
Tell me more about them.
Carson came from the Memphis shelter. He was high heartworm positive, and his little ribs were showing when we pulled him from the shelter. And I took him through heartworm treatment along with his Aunt Sherry. So after carrying him around for 3 months, since they can't be active during the heartworm treatment, he never left. I'm what's called a foster failure. That's when you foster a dog and then you decide you can't let him go because nobody's going to love him as much as you. Button was also a rescue. She came in at 6 months old. Her family couldn't afford her Demodex treatments, so she was taken to the Williamson shelter, Williamson County shelter, and one of the shelter volunteers took her home to continue treating her Demodex and to put her up for adoption. Well, in the meantime, her group got kennel cough, which is highly contagious, which is like a bronchial, like we get a cold. That's what kennel cough is. So they called me to see if we could take her into rescue, and that was at 6 months. She's now 8, and obviously she never left.
8 years old, not 8 months old.
Yeah, 8 years old, yeah, so obviously she never left either. But they're 2 stories. We get a lot in from various shelters. We cover Indiana. Our president, Linda Stugenberger, is from New Haven, Indiana. We've got Kentucky Homes. We have a transport coordinator and adoption coordinator named Jessica Harris, and she's also a foster home. We have Liz Mitten in Memphis, Tennessee, who's our events coordinator and handles our Facebook page, which is Southern Cross Boston Terrier Rescue. You can go and like us. We also have an auction group called Southern Cross Boston Terrier Rescue auction site, and we're starting to hold online auctions. We have an event going on for St. Patrick's Day. You dress your Boston up in a St. Patrick's outfit, and we're having a contest. Whoever wins a prize. We also have a jelly bean contest for Easter.
Oh.
You guess the number of jelly beans in the jar, and you win a cozy pair of Boston Terrier socks.
Cute.
So that's one of our fundraisers that we have just started.
And this is a 501.
It's a 501c3 organization.
Charity.
We exist on tax donations alone and our fundraisers. We have a Boston Terrier Tea Party that's held at Edwin Warner Park every fall. This year it will be October the 19th from 10 to 4. We have a silent auction, and everything is a donation. Subway off of Highway 70 donates half our sandwiches. Oh. And we have a tea party, and everybody brings their Bostons. We have upwards of 100 Bostons that show up every year. So you see all sizes and ages and temperaments. Of course, Bostons range from 10 pounds to 25. So you've got the 11-pound here, and she's around 22. I've got a Boston also that's 41 pounds. The original Bostons weighed 44 pounds.
Wow.
They were bred down. So whenever you see this huge Boston and people think, oh, that's a pit, or no, it's a Boston Terrier. That's a throwback to the original Bostons.
And they are one of the few breeds that are actually native to...
They were the first breed that's native to America. They're a cross between an English Bulldog and a French, I think it's English White Terrier, and they're extinct now.
Oh.
So it's definitely, you have to keep the breed going, which we love breeders who follow specific guidelines, do DNA testing before they breed. Backyard breeders are not a friend of ours for the most part, because we end up with a lot of dogs with health issues that are passed on, like her Demodex was passed on by her parents.
Problem.
It's a non-contagious mange, but they lose their fur, they break out in oozing sores, they turn a hot pink color.
And she's beautiful now. She has a beautiful coat.
Yeah, and through treatment, we got her coat healthy.
And she has China blue eyes.
And that's
really
unusual. Yes, we have Bostons that come in with one blue eye, but 2 blue eyes is an exception. We have a Boston up on our pet site, Pet Finder, and our rescue site, SouthernCrossBTR.com. His name is Archer, and he's got 2 startling blue eyes,
oh, wow.
which we rarely see that. So, yeah, that was an unusual eye color to see in a Boston. Of course, you could never show her because they have to have they have to have brown eyes and be a certain coloring. Bostons are usually black and white. You have brindle and you have a seal color, and we even have some red ones.
Oh, okay.
And they're more common in Alabama and Missouri than you see in Tennessee.
Wyndi is also a certified pet trainer, and obviously Chloe has not been there. Hers are so well behaved.
And Button has been there, and she's trying to steer Chloe down, which she's has a little domination problem. So she's hoping to make eye contact with Chloe to say, "I'm in charge," but you're not in charge.
Chloe's just thinking, "Oh well."
Miss Patricia's in charge today, and not you.
Oh, that's so funny. So tell me about the Petra. First of all, is Carson your first Boston?
No, my first Boston came about when I first moved to Tennessee. I took my car in to be serviced, and they said, "Why don't you go walk around the mall?" So I did, and there was a Boston Terrier puppy running through the mall with everybody trying to catch her. They had given her a bath. And I went to the pet store, and she had a reduced sign on her because Bostons can run from $800 to $1,200. That's why people are always saying, "You've got a Boston, you have to rescue Boston Terriers." Yeah, we do, obviously. And anyway, I went in and bought her and chose not to get my car fixed, which shows how women think. You know, I wanted a companion more than I wanted my ride. So I named her Bunny, Bunni, and she was my first Boston. She was not a rescue. I did not know about rescue at the time. I then went on to buy from a backyard breeder another Boston that was named Tyler. He lived to be almost 15. And then I got Jack, my 40-pounder, that's the throwback from a pet store. And then I discovered that Boston Terriers had a rescue group. So I went online and started researching and became involved with a rescue group called Kentucky, Tennessee. And then after being there, that was in 2004. And then we broke away from that group and started our own, which was named Southern Cross Boston Terrier Rescue, and that was started in 2006. So I've been doing rescue since 2004. I've had many fosters come through. We get them all ages. We get them pregnant Boston Terriers.
Now, where do you get them?
Mainly shelters will contact us.
Okay.
Or
so if somebody had a Boston,
somebody
and
had
maybe
a
they had
Boston.
passed away, or
well, a lot of times it's various reasons. The owner dies, the family doesn't want to take the Boston, or the owner goes into a nursing home,
right,
and the children, they don't have children, or no one's going to take care of them. They end up at a shelter, and also we get this a lot. I'm having a baby and I can't take care of a dog and a child at the same time, or now their child is walking and the Boston's too active.
Do you train them?
We get a lot of strays in. Our foster homes are supposed to leash train them, we house train them, crate train them, and we kind of analyze them to see if they're dog aggressive, if they need to be an only dog, if they get along with cats. And so when we put them up on Pet Finder, when they're ready, then we know basically who they can be around. Sometimes they're afraid of men. Most of the time it's a man rather than a woman. On occasion we get them that are afraid of women. So we get the foster homes to work with them around men to show that no one's going to mistreat them.
Right.
We have gotten them in with various medical problems. We get a lot of seniors in that come in as strays, and animal control picks them up, and then they will contact a rescue group because they're unadoptable at that time. When they're that old or have health issues, rescue is their last chance, because otherwise, they will be euthanized. Most of the time, 3 to 5 days, the shelter holds them, and if they come in as a stray, they usually get more time. If their owner surrendered, then they know the owner's not looking for them, and it's time to call rescue if they're not adoptable. Everybody likes the cute puppies or the young Bostons, but when they get to be 7 on up, usually people think they're going to have too many health problems or whatever. They're looking for a younger dog. We have senior dogs that come into rescue that never leave, so rescue continues to treat them for their medical problems, and that's when our donations come in. We recently took in one that was thought to be blind, and he just had eye issues, and we had to have one of the eyes removed, and he had a cataract on the other eye, so we raised the money to get the cataract removed, so now he has sight. So he's up on Pet Finder. His name is George, and that's why donations are really the basis of any rescue group being able to accomplish what they need. The other thing is foster homes. We're always in need of foster homes. We provide the expenses for the medical care, and if they have to be on a special food, we provide that. The only thing the foster home provides is the main thing is the love and attention, their food and their treats.
What do they usually eat?
Different people have different requirements for their dogs. I treat mine with holistic food and do fresh fruits. They can have anything besides avocados or onions, or raisins and grapes are very deadly. Chocolate is bad for them, but I cut up, this is my apple. She loves cantaloupe, watermelon. They get their apple treats, and they can have vegetables. I give them cooked frozen vegetables, and with a holistic kibble. And most of our group has their dogs on holistic foods and feeds them the holistic treats and everything. It's the less additives and preservatives is always going to be the best.
Oh, and I don't mind giving Dr. Mark Smith's Natchez Trace Veterinary Clinic a plug here, because we both use
him, and we also use Dr. Marcus Smith as our vet for Southern Cross for local foster homes. He takes care of my dogs, and a great vet. He does Western and Eastern medicine, so he does the acupuncture and the electrotherapy and the chiropractic care that most vets don't. And they can definitely do a turnaround with holistic supplements too. Like he's on a supplement called Bloodroot because he's had a grade 2 mast cell tumor, which mast cells are one of the breeds that gets them are the pugs and the Bostons. So I've dealt with the mast cell tumors quite a bit, in rescue, and a lot of times just being surgically removed is all that's needed.
Well, they both look like they're a picture of health. They're just gorgeous, gorgeous little puppies.
See, I'm on Bloodroot to prevent a recurrence of a mast cell. So he had one removed over 2 years ago. It was a grade 2, and he hasn't had any return. So, we're thankful for that. She has no health issues except when she started growing, her trachea didn't grow with her. So she does a lot of, when she drinks, she'll do a lot of the coughing and because of her little trachea. But that's not a common thing. With Bostons, it's their eyes, because they have the bigger eyes. Right. They're prone to eye injuries. The patella, with the knee going in and out, sliding in and out, they're prone to that, and the mast cell tumor. So those are the 3 things with the Boston Terrier that they can get. but they're good for apartments. They're good with children, and they're a very friendly breed. They require a lot of exercise. I tell people that if you want a dog that doesn't interact with you, you're better off with a pet rock. Do not get a Boston, because they want to be in your face, riding with you, sleeping with you, eating with you. They're very human oriented.
Wyndi and I are neighbors in Temple Hills golf course area, and I see Wyndi daily and Sherry daily walking.
We're walking. It's paws on the ground, if the weather permitting. Of course, with their short noses and their smudged faces, real cold weather, we can't have them in. They're real hot weather. They're very heat sensitive. So if it's above 45, we've got paws on the ground, and if it's below 80, we've got paws on the ground. I even have a little treadmill at home.
Oh my gosh.
That they haven't been on yet. You know, we look at it. As long as we can get out there and that fresh air, then we really tell people when they adopt, make sure that you have the time, and we'll take the effort to exercise them. We just had one adopted by a great couple in Bellevue, adopted one that had been used as a bait dog. And people go, why would they use Boston as a bait dog? Well, because of their tenacity to, be very, sometimes a little aggressive in their playing and everything. They'll use them for dog fights, to get the dogs, the pits mainly, to get them all, riled up in order to fight. So he had come in with little bite marks and has a sensitivity to fluorescent light, and he was evaluated and it turned out that he was used as a bait dog. So he can only be an only dog, and that's where the foster homes come in, and also where the shelters are going to contact us and say, this dog is dog aggressive, we cannot place him. So the shelters are very limited. If the dog doesn't have the right attitude and doesn't have any health problems and everything, they can get adopted. So most shelters try to get their dogs adopted first before they're going to call a rescue group.
Right.
So we're really, the last call for the dog.
Right. I had a little Yorkie that I had fostered. Actually, had two Yorkies that I fostered. I fostered one, and she went on to find another home with the Yorkie Rescue, and that was great. And the second one, I think the lady from the Yorkie Rescue, when she knew that I was going to be a foster mom, she said, when I saw you with her, Macy, and Macy Gray was her name, she said, I knew it was a match. So I was a failure.
Yes, we have a foster home.
I fully intended that I was just going to keep this darling little Yorkie.
They'll email and they'll go, I don't think I can give him up. So I go, okay, from experience, let me tell you, if you keep them, if we keep them all, we can't make room for new ones to come in. So love them and let them go. I've had them, looking at me like, what are you doing, when their new owner comes to pick them up, and I'm bawling, as I turn away, going, oh my gosh. And then I learned a valuable lesson. I had my first foster was named John Wayne, and I took him through heartworm treatment. So I was very attached to him. And when his potential adoptive mother called me, I get off the phone and I'm just bawling. I go, oh, how am I ever going to let him go? So we talked back and forth. Her application was approved, and when she got approved with her home visit, it was time to let him go. So Sherry went with me, and we went to meet the transport people that were helping to get him to the Carolinas. And my sister said, don't look back, because he was at the window with his little face pressed against, looking at me, and I sobbed all the way home. So a year or two passed, and I was doing my memories job, which we'll get into the Judd thing here in a little while. And I said, well, I'll pet sit for him while his new mom and aunt went shopping. Well, I thought, oh, he's going to be so happy to see me and everything. She goes to the restroom. He goes and sits by the door, never leaves her side, couldn't have given me a second glance. That showed me right there.
You'd done the right
thing.
thing.
We think about them. We put our feelings on them and think, oh, gosh, they're going to wonder, why did I give him up? No. He had adjusted to his new mom. That was his new love of his
Wow.
life.
It's a
I
good
wasn't
story.
it.
Great story.
So that made me know from then on,
Yeah.
you can let go.
As long as they're treated nicely
Yes.
and they're loved, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My little Yorkie, when I received her, she wasn't housebroken. She was horrified. She had been, and they got her with a gigantic, she was pregnant with a gigantic tumor, and so obviously lost puppies, and had been just a brood bitch for 5 years. And I got her when she was 5 years old, and I was able to give her another 8 years of her life, and you know, lived healthy and happy. But it took her a good year and a half to be
Yeah.
a normal,
Yeah.
to not be afraid. And
Well, the abuse cases are what will break your heart. The first one I got in to rescue, his name was Kid, and he came in with an eye that had been punctured numerous times and had a broken femur in 2 places. So my vet actually cried when at the time, when she saw the x-rays, and you would have to get out on the floor with him when you would come in and let him come to you, and then he would be okay with you. But I remember my husband coming into the bedroom, and I had Kid on the bed, and he's, and he had his leg in a cast, and, you know, one eye, and, you know, with a cone on his head, and like, I'm going to take you on anyway, you know, because, you know, another case we got in, he had a burn mark about that big. He was a year old, where the vet said probably hot grease, something had been thrown on him. We had one in, I had a foster that went in to be neutered, because all of our dogs obviously are going to be spayed and neutered, and they discovered he had a broken jaw that had to be wired shut. Someone had hit him with a board or kicked him so hard it had broken his jaw. So you get in these abuse cases that you have to work with them longer, because you have to regain their trust to show that, you know, not everybody's abusive. And we also, when someone applies, which you can apply online if you're interested in adopting through Southern Cross, we have about a 5-page application that you fill out. Then we do a vet reference check. If you don't have a vet, then we do a personal reference of 3, and then we do a home visit, you know. And once that's approved, then we put you in contact with the foster home, and then we proceed from there. It's a $300 adoption fee, which covers the vetting, which most of the time it's spay neuter, all their shots, they're heartworm tested, put on a heartworm preventative, which is very, very important. When you get them in with heartworms, you can lose them due to the damage of the hearts. It's a hard treatment to put them through, so you can get a generic of the heartworm preventative and start your dogs on it if you're not already. And then we microchip them. So we're the alternate contact in case they ever get lost, and we have been called we've got a Boston, you know, and we've traced them back to you, and then we look them up and find out who's missing their Boston. So that's what we do for the $300.
Wow, that's definitely well worth it. We have about 6 minutes left, and I want to talk about some more things that you do. Do you want to talk about the calendar first?
We do a calendar every year, and we have our adoptive Bostons featured, and then here below we have the Bostons that have crossed over what we call to the Rainbow Bridge. These are very special to us. In fact, we're going to have them up on our Boston Terrier, Southern Cross Boston Terrier Rescue auction site of Bostons that we have lost in the past. And we've even had them adopted where they've only lived to be 6 to 8 months because they had a health problem. And we do have kind-hearted people out there that will adopt the seniors with health issues.
Oh, I love seniors. You know, I really do.
You learn a lot. I had a senior that I
Everybody wants
lost
a puppy, but
yeah.
you know, if you have a dog
Well,
that's
I lost
7 or
him in
8,
November, and he was 12. He was put in a kill shelter, and he had a tumor, the cancerous tumor, but it was slow growing. So I had him 2.5 years before I lost him, and I wouldn't let him be adopted by the time I'd had him that long, because he knew he had a doggy door. He knew where to go in and out and everything, and he was sick. He needed, you know, he needed care and someone to stay on top of it.
Is it true, and maybe this is not a good question to ask, but is it true that a lot of the shelters, if they're over 3 or 4, that they're automatically put down?
There are shelters that have no vet on site. So if a rescue doesn't come get them, they are euthanized.
Wow.
And then you have, like I commented earlier, you'll have shelters that will try to get their healthy ones adopted first. If they don't, then they'll call rescue. But most of the time, it's the ones that are sick, they're older, or have aggression issues, behavior problems. And that's the number one reason why the shelters say that animals get brought to a shelter is over behavior issues, which you can get with the trainer and take some time and effort. And
Do you go into people's homes, or do you do a training?
I go to people's homes. I basically got trained to help our group.
Is it hard to
with
become a
issues.
rescue person and help other dogs, or do you have to go through?
No, you can apply with a foster application, and we do a home visit on you, and you're in. You know.
I just wondered about that because I know a few people that do it, and I didn't know what you had to go through.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, we do, and we ask you all different kinds of questions because you have to make a decision that if the dog gets ill, that you have to put him to sleep, and that's a hard thing. So you know, in the foster homes, are our greatest people because they're what keeps the rescue going.
Right. Wyndi and I have been friends for several years, and I first met her, I think it was at a restaurant, and I thought it was Naomi Judd. And she's so beautiful. And there is a story behind that. Do you want to talk about?
Yes, me and my Judd partner, Kelly Knopf, have been doing the Judds since around 2000. And we perform at Memories. In fact, we were there this past month. And
Memories, what is that?
Memories Theater in Pigeon Forge.
Oh, okay.
So we have a website. It's www.tributetothejudds.com, which shows our schedule and shows us performing. And
you're not lip syncing.
No, we have to sound like the Judds.
So you actually sing?
We actually sing. It's no lip syncing. In fact, we performed at Metro for the past 5 years for their North League Animal Adoption Day, and we've come out and performed as the Judds to help get interest. So we're involved in rescue in that way.
Excellent.
The Judds know all about you.
I met Naomi at a book signing, and people thought I was her. They all cleared the way for me to walk in, before Naomi got there.
Bet you get the best tables at restaurants.
And then Kelly has met Winona backstage at the Grand Ole Opry, and actually wears her boots from the No One Else on Earth video. She met her at a yard sale at her Winona's yard sale. So we'll have to come back as the Judds and tell you all of our experiences.
I would love that.
As doing the Judds.
So let's recap and talk quickly, if we could. Upcoming events are?
Well, we have the ongoing St. Patrick's Day contest and the Easter contest, which is at our Southern Cross Boston Terrier auction site.
And that'll be on site.
We have a bowl-a-thon in March. We just had that a couple of weeks ago to raise money, the Boston Bowl-a-thon, which is headed by Bill Satelli. And then in October on the 19th, it's on a Saturday from 10 to 4. We have our Boston Tea Party. So don't show up protesting the Tea Party because you're going to see a lot of Bostons who are not political.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. It's been a fun show for me and Carson and Bunny and meeting you, and we'll look forward to Buttons.
She gets offended.
Bunny, I call her Bunny, I'm sorry.
Bunny was my first
Bunny was
Boston.
your first one, yes.
She's snoring over here.
Oh.
Yeah, we've put her to sleep. If she couldn't go after Chloe, she's had her to sleep.
Yeah, she just gave up.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you.